Can you request permission from a copyright owner to reproduce more than your college's copyright practices permit? Yes, you can. Before you begin, check with the person designated by your college to answer copyright questions. They may have suggestions or alternatives that you can consider, and they may be able to assist with your request for permission. In many cases, such as with books, films, and music, you'll need to request permission through a representative like a book publisher, movie distributor, or a music producer. Before preparing your request for permission, you will need to answer these questions. Who is the copyright owner or the representative? What copyright protected content do you want to reproduce? How much of the copyright protected content do you want to reproduce? How many students will be using the reproduced content? How will those students be using the reproduced content? You'll also need to plan ahead. Large book publishers and music producers can take up to 6 weeks or more to respond to requests for permission. Be prepared to pay a fee in return for permission to reproduce copyright-protected content. Here is a typical request to a publisher for permission to reproduce 3 chapters from a book titled Global Journalism Ethics by Stephen J. A. Ward. The publisher is McGill-Queen's University Press. Find the appropriate contact information. This email address was obtained from the permissions page on the McGill-Queen's University Press website. Be precise in your request for permission. Include relevant page numbers, song titles, movie scene descriptions, or any other references that will let the copyright owner know what you'd like to reproduce. If you're requesting permission to adapt or translate copyright-protected content, send a copy that demonstrates the changes you'd like to make to the original content. If you are requesting permission for the communication of copyright-protected content via your college's learning management system like Blackboard or Desire to Learn, advise the copyright owner that access to the content will be restricted to students enrolled in the course and that your college's learning management system is password protected. The number of students and the duration of time that for which you'd like the copyright-protected content to be accessible are generally considered when a fee is determined. What else do you need to know? If you know the copyright owner, you still need to request and receive permission in writing. It's important to have a record of requested and received permission, and it's difficult to keep accurate records based on verbal conversations. No matter how well you know the copyright owner, request permission in writing. Obtain written permission. If the copyright owner agrees to permit the reproduction of their content, you'll be granted a transactional license. The transactional license will generally tell you how long you may use the copyright-protected work, the fee, if any, that you're required to pay for the use of the copyright-protected work, the terms and conditions that your use of the copyright-protected work must respect. Regardless of how informal the written permission to reproduce is, save it along with any formal requests and licenses. Your college may have someone designated to assist with requests for permission and the storage of records. For more information about requesting and obtaining a permission and transactional license, ask the person designated by your college to answer copyright questions. Your college library is a good place to start.